Letter 153 by Charles Lamb. Charles Lamb to William Wordsworth, p.m. June 26, 1806. Dear Wordsworth, we got the £6 safe in your sister's letters. Are pleased, you may be sure, with the good news of Mrs. W. Hope all is well over by this time. A fine boy, have you any more? One more and a girl, poor copies of me, vidi Mr. H. a farce which the proprietors have done me the honor. But I will set down Mr. Rotten's own words. N.B. The ensuing letter was sent in answer to one which I wrote begging to know if my piece had any chance, as I might make alterations, and see I writing on the Monday, there comes this letter on the Wednesday. Attend. Copy of a letter from Mr. Ard, Rotten. Sir, your piece of Mr. H., I am desired to say, is accepted at Drury Lane Theatre, by the proprietors, and, if agreeable to you, will be brought forwards when the proper opportunity serves. The piece shall be sent to you for your alterations in the course of a few days, as the same is not in my hands but with the proprietors. Dated I am, sir, 66 Gower Sint, your obedient cert, Wednesday Ard, Rotten. June 11, 1806. On the following Sunday Mr. Tobin comes. The scent of a manager's letter brought him. He would have gone further any day on such a business. I read the letter to him. He deems it authentic and peremptory. Our conversation naturally fell upon pieces, different sorts of pieces. What is the best way of offering a piece? How far the caprice of managers is an obstacle in the way of a piece? How to judge of the merits of a piece? How long a piece may remain in the hands of the managers before it is acted? And my piece, and your piece, and my poor brother's piece. My poor brother was all his life endeavoring to get a piece accepted. I am not sure that, when my poor brother bequeathed the care of his pieces to Mr. James Tobin, he did not therein convey a legacy which in some measure mollified the otherwise first stupefactions of grief. It can't be expected that the present Earl Nelson passes all his time in watering the laurels of the Admiral with right reverend tears. Certainly he steals a fine day now, and then to plot how to lay out the grounds and mansion at Burnham, most suitably to the late Earl's taste, if he had lived, and how to spend the £100,000 Parliament has given him in erecting some little neat monument to his memory. Mr. H. I wrote that in mere wantonness of triumph. Have nothing more to say about it. The managers, I thank my stars, have decided its merits forever. They are the best judges of pieces, and it would be insensible in me to affect a false modesty after the very flattering letter which I have received and the ample. I think this will be as good a pattern for orders as I can think on. A little thin flowery border round, neat not gaudy, and the Drury Lane Apollo with the harp at the top. Or shall I have no Apollo? Simply nothing, or perhaps the comic muse. The same form, only I think without the Apollo, will serve for the pit and galleries. I think it will be best to write my name at full length, but then if I give away a great many, that will be tedious. Perhaps CH. Lamb will do. Boxes now I think on it I'll have in capitals. The rest in a neat Italian hand, or better perhaps, boxes in Old English character, like Madoc or Thalaba. I suppose you know poor Mountague has lost his wife. That has been the reason for my sending off all we have got of yours separately. I thought it a bad time to trouble him. The T25 lb, in 5 lb, papers, 2 sheets to each, with the chocolate which we were afraid Mrs. W. would want, comes in one box and the hats in a small one. I booked them off last night by the Kendall wagon. There comes with this letter, no, it comes a day or two earlier, a letter for you from the doctor at Malta, about Coleridge just received. Nothing of certainty, you see, only that he is not at Malta. We supped with the Clarksons one night, Mrs. Clarkson pretty well. Mr. C somewhat fidgety, but a good man. The baby has been on a visit to Mrs. Charlotte Smith, novelist and moral strainer, but is returned. A short passage omitted here. Mary is just stuck fast and all's well that ends well. She complains of having to set forth so many female characters in boys' clothes. She begins to think Shakespeare must have wanted imagination. I to encourage her, for she often faints in the prosecution of her great work, flatter her with telling her how well such a play and such a play is done. But she is stuck fast, and I have been obliged to promise to assist her. To do this, it will be necessary to leave off tobacco. But I had some thoughts of doing that before, for I sometimes think it does not agree with me. W. Hazlitt is in town. I took him to see a very pretty girl professedly, where there were 2 young girls. The very head and some of the girlery was 2 young girls. They neither laughed nor sneered nor giggled nor whispered. But they were young girls, and he sat and frowned blacker and blacker, indignant that there should be such a thing as youth and beauty, till he tore me away before supper in perfect misery, and owned he could not bear young girls. They drove him mad. So I took him home to my old nurse, where he recovered perfect tranquility. Independent of this, and as I am not a young girl myself, he is a great acquisition to us. He is, rather imprudently, I think, printing a political pamphlet on his own account, and will have to pay for the paper, and see the first duty of an author, I take it, is never to pay anything. But non cuivis attigit ad aer Corinthum. The managers, I thank my stars, have settled that question for me. Yours truly, C. Lamb. Wordsworth's third child, Thomas, who did not grow up, was born June 16, 1806. A fine boy, the quotation is from Mr. H.'s soliloquy after the discovery of his name. No son of mine shall exist to bear my ill-fated name. No nurse come chuckling to tell me it is a boy. No midwife leering at me from under the lids of professional gravity. I dreamed of Caudle. Sings in a melancholy tone, lullaby, lullaby, hushaby baby, how like its papa it is. Makes motions as if he was nursing, and then, when grown up, is this your son, sir? Yes, sir, a poor copy of me, a sad young dog. Just what his father was at his age, I have four more at home. Oh, oh, oh. Tobin was James Tobin, whom we have already met, brother of the late dramatist John Tobin. Poor Mountague would be Basil Montagu, whose second wife had just died. He married afterwards Anne Skepper, whom Lamb came to know well, and of whom he speaks in his Elia essay, Oxford in the Vacation. The doctor was Dr. Stoddart. Coleridge had left Malta some months before, as we have seen. He had also left Rome and was in some foreign town unknown, probably not far from Leghorn, whence he sailed for England in the following month, reaching Portsmouth in August. The baby was Mrs. Godwin, and Charlotte Smith was the poetess, of great fame in her day, but now forgotten, who was then living at Tilford near Farnham in Surrey. She died in the following October. The passage which I have, with extreme reluctance, omitted, refers to the physical development of the two ladies. Lamb was writing just then less for Wordsworth than antiquity. Hazlitt's political pamphlet was his Free Thoughts on Public Affairs, 1806.